structure that's been in a state of chaos for the last several years has not been good. I hope things will improve for the future, but it's going to require some very important and very tough political judgments.
When you, I don't know, you maybe didn't see the whole Druckenmiller interview, but he has been frustrated for years about the, I guess, timidity or the slow pace of the Federal Reserve removing the emergency conditions that it instituted. At this point, do you feel that it's taken too long and it's actually having an adverse effect at this point?
Well, I don't want to comment on current monetary policy, but I'd love to see Dodd-Frank disappear. I think it was a disastrous mistake, and that is a key regulatory structure that we're looking at. There's been no change in the fact that when money supply accelerates, after a while, inflation picks up. But my concern now is actually stagflation. I think we are in a period, because of fiscal reasons, for a sluggish economic growth rate for a while. But superimposed on it are very early signs of a pickup of inflation. That pickup of inflation is going to move profit margins up temporarily, but it's a false dawn, because I think we will merge our way, as things are going on now, into a state of stagflation. And I don't know whether Stan agrees with that or not, but that's my view, and I think that's very worrisome.
Alan, it won't be the first time that Joe and I heard somebody say something and we had different takes on it. What I heard Stan saying, among other things, was the idea that it's been the Fed has been the only game in town, and he seems to be heartened by the economic outlook from the fiscal side joining in whatever way. In this case, it may be tax cuts and deregulation, but central bankers around the world have been complaining that there's been a monetary policy only game out there. Does it make you more optimistic now that there could be some assistance coming from the fiscal side, which could ease some of the pressure on the monetary policy side to do everything?
I think fiscal policy is number 1, 2, and 3. Monetary policy may be number 4.
And what do you mean by that in terms of what should fiscal policy be doing?
Fiscal policy should be, well, let me just go back a minute. We have a rate of increase in entitlements, which since 1965 has been 9% a year. What is occurring currently is that the entitlements plus gross domestic savings is, as a percent of GDP, has been absolutely flat back to 1965. That essentially says for every $1 increase in entitlements, you're getting a $1 decrease in gross domestic savings, which also affects gross domestic investment, which is the core of output per hour and our levels of GDP and prosperity. If we don't bring that under control, everything else we're doing is irrelevant.
But nobody's talking about that, Dr. Greenspan. Certainly not the president. Well, and not the Democratic nominee either. It seemed as if the whole entitlement issue was off the table. And there are, by the way, I think a legitimate complaint from Republican side will be, oh, wait a second. Now they're in office and you want to handle entitlements? And it seems like it's a little bit hypocritical now that all of a sudden we're going to put entitlements on the table just as the president-elect wants to step forward and start to reignite the economy.
Look, the age of the American population is going up. Throughout all of the developed countries, the ratio of the proportion of population age 65 and over is moving up fairly rapidly, and that is causing a major increase in entitlements, they call it social benefits, around the developed world. It is far more relevant here in the sense that it's beginning to have a very significant negative impact on economic growth. That's where our problems are. No, I agree with you. during all the debates that went on during this election and upcoming to it, nobody used the word entitlements.